The movie starts with a man stopping at a gas station in Arizona to fill up his car. But he gets to know that the gas station owner, Vernon, has run out of gas and he needs to wait for the gas truck to arrive. Vernon tells him there's no other gas station for 100 miles. So, he suggests the salesman wait in the nearby diner until the gas truck arrives. However, the salesman decides to wait in his car instead. While waiting, he sees a sheriff's car pull up, and the sheriff's wife, Charlotte, enters the diner. The salesman listens to the radio in his car and hears about a robbery at the Buckeye Western Fidelity Bank of Arizona. The news reports that two men have stolen around $700,000. In the next scene, we see a crashed gasoline truck on the side of the road. The diner is open, and the salesman decides to go inside. He orders a coffee and asks Charlotte about the gas station. He also tells her that he needs to be in Carlsbad tomorrow because it's his daughter's birthday and she lives with her mother and stepdad. They have a little conversation in which he tells her about his job. He is a knife salesman. Charlotte asks him about the diner's famous pie, but the salesman says it's too early to have pie. So, she suggests that he should take a slice for his daughter's birthday as a gift. Next, we see two men named Bo and Travis, who stop their car at a gas station. Vernon tells them that the gas pumps are empty, and they should wait at the diner for some time. Bo decides to park his car near the diner, but Travis insists they go inside for coffee. However, Bo wants to wait in the car, but Travis goes inside anyway, and the two men ask Charlotte for a cup of coffee. While they are there, a salesman who is working on a crossword puzzle in the newspaper suspects that they might be the robbers because of their car. Charlotte suddenly arrives at his table for a coffee refill and asks him to show the knives he has for sale. The salesman then opens his box and goes for his sales pitch to sell his knives. He tells also her that he thinks they are the robbers who stole the bank. Charlotte becomes suspicious and decides to call her husband Carly, who is the local sheriff. But before she can finish the call, Bo shows a gun and demands she hang up. Threatened, Charlotte mentions her husband is on the line, only to be violently silenced as Bo cuts the phone line. Bo then questions her and the salesman, ensuring they have no means of escape or communication. Charlotte is now forced to resume her duties, under threat of further harm from Bo if she doesn't act normally. The tense situation escalates with the arrival of two elderly customers, Robert and Erlene. We then see a police officer named Gavin, who receives a call from Charlie. Charlie asks Gavin to buy coffee from the diner, and also to check with his wife Charlotte, who called him earlier and then hung up suddenly. Meanwhile, Travis asks Bo about his plan of running away. Bo tells him that if he finds someone with a car, they will take it and leave. Travis needs to use the restroom, so he asks Charlotte where it is. Charlotte tells him it's at the gas station. Bo tells Travis to check if Charlotte is lying about Vernon having a car, and also threatens Charlotte not to lie again. Travis goes to Vernon and tells him that Charlotte said he doesn't have a car. Vernon gets confused and asks why she would say that. Travis tells him that they are just having a conversation and asks where the bathroom is before heading straight to the bathroom. In the scene, we see two young couples named Sybil and Miles who stop their car in the desert. Miles is practicing how to fire a gun on an empty tin can and asks Sybil if she thinks the bank robbers have a gun or not. Then, Gavin arrives at a diner to pick up the coffee that Charlie asked him to get. He talks to Charlotte, who tells him that the gas tanks have yet to arrive at the gas station. While Gavin is talking to the customers, Charlotte prepares 3 cups of coffee. On Charlie's cup, she wrote his name on the front side of the cap and wrote "Help" on the inside of the cap. She also added extra sugar so that Charlie would notice her signal when he drinks the coffee. Bo comes to the table and asks Charlotte why Charlie is getting a special cup of coffee. She replies that he doesn't like sugar. Meanwhile, Travis arrives from the washroom and gets suspicious when he sees a cop car. As he looks inside the diner from outside, Gavin comes out and crashes into him, spilling the coffee all over the floor. Gavin then goes inside, wipes the coffee off his uniform, reorders 3 cups of coffee, and goes back outside. Finally, Vernon arrives at the diner and sees the cut wire of the telephone, which makes him curious. Gavin goes to the police station to meet Charlie, and he mentions that Charlotte seemed upset today. Charlie explains that her mother is sick, which could be the reason for her bad mood. Meanwhile, Sybil and Miles are driving on the road, and Miles suggests they rob a bank. They stop at a gas station to fill up and get some coffee, and Miles spots a car that was used in a bank robbery. He tries to open the trunk of their car to take the money, but he stops when Vernon, who has finished his meal, returns to the gas station. Instead, Miles and Sybil go inside the diner. As Sybil and Miles discuss the possible robbers, Chief Pete arrives at the diner, where he knows Charlotte. Bo approaches Pete, asking about his car's gas. Pete confirms he filled it out yesterday. Realizing someone has a car, Bo sticks to his plan of stealing it. When Charlotte takes Bo's order, he pulls out his gun, threatening to shoot her unless Pete hands over his car keys. Meanwhile, Old Man Robert pulls out his gun, aiming at Bo and Travis. Pete also draws his gun, pointing it at them. As Charlotte prepares to attack Bo with her knife, Miles intervenes, aiming his gun at Pete. Miles offers to help Bo and Travis escape for money, which Bo accepts. Pete agrees to give his keys but wants Charlotte safe and distances himself from Miles and Bo's deal. As Pete retrieves his keys, Miles insists on holding them for his exit. Charlotte stabs Bo as gunfire erupts, resulting in multiple deaths except for the salesman, Sybil, Bo, and Travis. Vernon arrives, shooting Travis before being shot by Bo. In desperation, Sybil tries to take control of the situation, but is stabbed by the salesman in self-defense. With everyone else dead, the salesman, with Bo's dying breaths, grabs cigarettes and leaves the diner. A salesman was stuck in a difficult situation and was trying to come up with a plan. He went to a gas station to make a phone call, then suddenly hung up. He came up with the idea to steal money. He took the money from a robber's car and filled his car with gasoline from another car. Meanwhile, Charlie got suspicious as no one answered the phone from the diner or the gas station, so Gavin decided to visit. As the salesman was leaving, another couple arrived. The man went inside the diner and came out with a shock, telling his wife to stay outside. The salesman approached them and tried to explain that he had nothing to do with this. However, the man didn't believe him and insisted that he stay put. The salesman had no choice but to take out his gun and threaten them. He then learned the woman's name was Sarah and offered her $10,000 in exchange for not revealing his name. The couple initially accepted, but later refused when they found out the money was stolen from a bank. Things got worse when the couple found out that the salesman's gun was empty. They got into a fight and the woman got shot. The salesman eventually won the fight and learned that the couple had a baby in their car. He left the baby and drove away with the stolen money. Charlie and Gavin arrive at a diner, only to find everyone there dead. Charlie is devastated when he discovers that his wife Charlotte is also among the victims. While looking for clues, Charlie tells Gavin that the robbers who robbed the bank might be behind all of this. Later, Charlie sees gasoline on the road outside and realizes that someone else has been there. He then discovers a baby in a nearby car and decides to take it with him. He asks Gavin to take care of the baby while he goes after the car that belongs to the salesman, whom he saw when he dropped Charlotte at the diner that morning. Charlie hopes to find some answers about what happened to his wife. He decides to go after the car alone and tells Gavin he will call for backup. The salesman's car runs out of gas, and he takes a bag of money from the back of his trunk. He then comes across a crashed gasoline truck that we see at the movie's beginning. Charlie arrives at the scene and sees the empty car. He looks for the driver, and they eventually come face to face. Charlie fires a warning shot and asks the salesman to come out of the car. The salesman confesses everything and tells him about an incident that happened at a diner where he should not have taken the money. However, Charlie is suspicious since he is the only one who came out of the diner alive. The salesman, realizing there's gasoline around, tries to light it with his lighter to escape. As he runs, Charlie fires shots, hitting the salesman. There's a huge explosion, and shortly after, the salesman dies from his wound, leaving a bag of $700,000 in the middle of an empty desert.